How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at River North Brewery's barrel-aged Avarice, an Imperial Stout aged in whiskey barrels. So today's beer review should be a really big treat. This is barrel-aged Avarice by River North Brewing Company. This is one of three special beers a buddy of mine picked up for me while he was visiting Colorado Springs, Colorado, of course. And I've already reviewed from these guys. He picked up two of their barrel-aged series. He picked up their Quandary, which is a barrel-aged quad, and it was like one of the most delicious quads I had ever had. It was tied with the Trapistes Roquefort 10, I think, as like my favorite quad that I've ever had, period. So I have high hopes just from the from what I've seen from these guys so far for this beer. Not too much information here. It just says barrel-aged Avarice, cases 135, so 135 cases of this were made. This is release number 3. The year was 2014. Imperial Stout aged in whiskey barrels. And then it says aged 12 months, so 1 full year, in freshly emptied charred oak whiskey barrels. Comes in at 11.5% alcohol by volume, which is a massive ABV by any stretch for a beer. You'll definitely be feeling it after drinking even a glass of this. I'm going to have the whole bottle, so I know I'm going to be feeling it. I'm going to be drinking this beer out of my Duvel Snifter glass. This is what I always drink the really big beers out of. Let me grab my bottle opener here. I really don't have anything else to say. I'm ready to get the cap off of this and give it a try. Really excited for this one. Alrighty, cap is off. Straight out, the color pours. Absolutely pitch black. I mean, that is like burnt motor oil straight out of the glass. I'm pouring this super hard because it seems to have a very low head potential, which is to be expected with the ABV being that high. It's very viscous, pitch black. No need of even holding this one up in the light because I know I'm not going to be able to see through this. It formed about a finger of extremely dark tan to light brown colored head. The smell on this is awesome. I'm getting lots of malt. Lots of hazelnut, actually. Little touches of like oak woodiness. Baker's chocolate. Not very sweet chocolate. This is definitely like baking chocolate. Very, very bittersweet. Leather. It smells like a very high quality Imperial Stout or even Russian Imperial Stout. I'm not picking up on too many elements that would come from barrel aging, like you know, stuff like the raisins and the butterscotch, things like that. What I am getting is this kind of sweet nuttiness, like a hazelnut or maybe even peanut butter nuttiness. I'm getting a ton of malt, lots of bittersweet chocolate. Little bit of coffee, and definitely some kind of fresh oak woodiness, which I guess that's from the barrel aging. So the smell is quite good, but I expected just a little bit more as far as aroma goes because there's really nothing in there to tip me off that this was bourbon barrel aged. Barrel aged, yes, I'm getting the wood. Bourbon barrel aged, not really. I usually expect like butterscotch, caramel, you know, straight bourbon, something like that. But we won't know until we taste it if that's the case or not. So without further ado, let's give it a drink and see what it's like. Really good. Just the right balance of bourbon. It's not over the top like a lot of them are. It's not overly sweet either. In fact, it has a slight bit of sourness to it. I'm definitely getting a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of raisin, Lots of malt, chocolate, and coffee. Everything that one would come to expect out of a bourbon barrel-aged stout, but there's just this strange, slight sourness to it. It's putting me off just a little bit. Man, I cannot place where that sourness is coming from, but it's definitely out of place in this. I don't know. It's got everything that it needs, but there's just this weird sourness that's residing in it that is not doing it for me. That's a real shame, because this could be a perfect A+ stout if it wasn't for that little bit of sourness being in there. But that sourness is really killing it, and it's going to probably drop it down quite significantly. I'll be honest, as far as scores go, I'd have to give this like a high B, like a 88 to an 89. I don't think it deserves an A, because it's got, oh man, it's all there. It's got the bittersweet chocolate, it's got the coffee, the raisin, the brown sugar, the leather, the wood sap, everything you want, and then it's just ruined by this sourness. And I've had this sourness before in stouts. I don't know what causes it. It's really hard to put my finger on it, or really it's hard for me to explain it. Because it's not like a Belgian sour, it's not like vinegar or something. It's just kind of this off-put astringency, sort of. And usually I only notice it in lower quality stouts. So something like this, there's no excuse for there to be sourness in it at all. So that's what I feel comfortable giving it. It's a decent barrel-aged stout. You know, if you saw this on tap or something, which I doubt you would, but if you ever did, it'd be worth giving a shot. As it stands, it's a decently good bourbon barrel stout, but it needs some work because that sourness just needs to go. That has been my review of River North Brewery's barrel-aged Avarice. Hope you guys enjoyed the beer review as always. Stay tuned for the next one.